is up, kittens, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you very, very much for watching, and if you haven't given me a subscribe yet, you can do so below. I started this channel pretty much because of my own issues battling insulin resistance, which is the genetic precursor to type 2 diabetes and polycystic ovarian syndrome. Since then, I kind of just day-to-day in the life, what I do every day, things I do, my fitness regime will be upcoming is how I do my makeup. I get lots and lots and lots of comments from girls generally about my makeup, and in all honesty, I do not spend hours doing my makeup. I whip it all up in like 5 to 10 minutes. So it's upcoming. I'm also doing, so I did a DNA test. I've done 2 DNA tests, one with ancestry.com, another one 23andMe. I've got the 23andMe test results back. I'm just waiting for the ancestry ones to come back. I've done that with the comparison with those 2 companies. So today, if you've been subscribing to my Instagram, you will know that last week I went in for 2 fillings and I ended up leaving with 3 fillings, all on my bottom jaw. And I'm gonna ask you guys, if any of you guys are teeth grinders and you have overcome this teeth grinding, what you did, because like before years ago, it's been, they always tell me, you're grinding your teeth, and I'm like, well, I'm sleeping. How do I know I'm grinding? And not only that, it's kind of like, oh geez, you know, like I get really blocked sinuses as well, because, you know, like Sydney and all, really blocked sinuses. Plus I grind my teeth, like how unromantic at night, like there's this, you know, fantasy of sleeping, like, you know, glamorous and everything. Fantasy versus reality. Fantasy, reality. Fantasy, or glamorous sleep. But reality is so truth is now, right, I've had orthodontics and I have to wear a retainer at night. And apparently the retainer at night is still not enough for me to stop the grinding, and I'm grinding through my teeth, and it's always in that one side of my jaw that I have like worn out fillings and eroding it down. So they're like, sorry, you need to wear this splint at night. So I've been in the morning already to go get the mold for this horrible splint. So I'm like, well, there goes my love life. As if it's not already. Anyone who has like wears a retainer at night, it's kind of like, good morning. At night, like, hi. Welcome to my tea. So yeah, if any of you have had this issue and you've overcome this grinding thing, because it's like, I'm a really heavy, deep sleeper and I dream in my sleep, and I love actually my dreams because often my dreams have had premonitions which have come true, and it's like watching a movie, and it's also a real insight as to what's going on in my subconscious mind at that particular time. So, but you know, I guess I dream so much that I'm just kind of like, you know, probably think I've got some popcorn in my mouth or something going on at the time. So anyway, I have to go get this night splint, which is really, very disappointing. It was like far out. But today is also Trulicity Day, and if you missed my former vlogs that I did a couple of weeks ago, they're all about insulin resistance and PCOS and what I'm currently on, which is the reason why I started the channel. And I have currently been given Trulicity, which is a once a week little injection. Once I was given Saxenda. Both of these two, Trulicity and Saxenda, they're not foreign medications. Everybody has this medication, well, everyone has this in their body already. Just that these are things that people with insulin sensitivity or type 2 diabetes, we just need a little bit of a booster of sometimes. And this particular peptide sits in our small intestine. As we know, you know, people with type 1 diabetes, you can have insulin dependent diabetes, which is you don't have insulin at all, and in which case you need to have insulin injections in order to, the insulin is what breaks down carbohydrates and things like that. And type 2 diabetes, non-insulin dependent, because you can also get insulin dependent, is when you do have insulin, but it does not work properly. So therefore it sits inside the muscles, and in order to get the insulin out of the muscles, you do need a medication such as Diabex or you know, weight training, because when you weight train and resistance train, it helps the hormones to come out of the body, the insulin to come out of the muscles, and the insulin is what breaks down those carbohydrates. Now this is another peptide, and it works kind of like in a similar way to get things, but it's what happens when the food gets to that small intestine and how it's broken down, everything like that. So today is Trulicity Day, and the Saxenda was once every day. And I have to say that if you want to trial on this, then the only way you're going to get that is if you're a diagnosed. And as I've put in my past blogs, which I'm going to put the link down below, you need the fasted glucose tolerance test done by your endocrinologist. It is a genetic gene. You're born with it. You're born with this gene, and people end up diabetic because they did not follow with the correct diet, with the correct nutrition and everything like that. People who are more inclined to, it's a genetic precursor. So often it's found, you know, if you have this gene and it's carried through your ancestors, and a lot of people from like a native, a native heritage or something like that, and that gene has come through to you. And then we live in a society now where a lot of things are processed, like processed foods and carbohydrates and refined things like that. And if you're not exercising and you're eating a diet based on this, pretty much you're going to become diabetic. And if you're drinking lots of alcohol, pretty much you're going to become diabetic, which is why there is a high tendency within certain ethnic groups and people who are athletes who once have stopped the sport, when they become stagnant, then their body is kind of gone, what's going on, and it's not processing because you're not using your muscles to release the insulin, which is stored in there to be able to break down those glycogens. Anyway, so a lot of this, my channel is also to do about that. But anyway, today is Trulicity Day. And I'm just going to say disclaimer here, guys, if you have if you get kind of queasy as you're watching needles, this is like an EpiPen, so don't like freak out. It's not like a big giant needle. It's really, really easy. But if you have a freak out with needles, do not watch this. Just fast forward right now. So this particular pen, I must say that I do prefer the Saxenda design of it, but it is easier doing it once a week. And I must admit, I have found that this one is a lot stronger than the Saxenda anyway. So untake the cap, put it onto my belly, unlock it, and then 1, 2, 3. It does hurt a little more than the Saxenda too. Like the Saxenda, and it's got a little bit of blood, not much. But yeah, that's it. Little tiny pen. So it just like bangs in like an EpiPen. Whereas the Saxenda one, you have to actually do it yourself and squeeze it. But this one does, I don't know, I'm not particularly fond of the design of how they've done this. And in all honesty, I think that, yeah, I mean, it's innovative. And not only that, is also because when it's once off, you could take the, like with the Saxenda, take off the needles, dispose of the needles in the needle disposal container, and then you could take the pen to the pharmacy, and then they would all go through to a special recycling refuse. Whereas this, because it's all in one and the needle's inside, that whole thing goes into the yellow sharps container that gets into waste. So that's my only complaint with this, is I do not like the design of this, only because of practicality reasons and also from a sustainability perspective. But from myself, a disclaimer, what works for you might be different to what works for me. But for me, I preferred this Trulicity than the Saxenda as a medical kind of, I haven't had any, I get a little nauseous the next day. So tomorrow I will feel a little tiny bit queasy. If you're pregnant, do not use this, and only because there have been insufficient studies done on this to ascertain the effects of a fetus. And if you're planning on falling pregnant, stop this at least 1 week prior, 1 or 2 weeks prior. With the Saxenda, a couple of days, because it's an every single day and it's only got, you know, a 12-hour half-life. But this one, because it lasts a week in the body, you'd probably need to wait 2 weeks before trying to fall pregnant to stop. So I'm gonna go to the gym and do a little workout. Then I have to go and get my hair done to fix my, I've actually got an afro. Check out this, guys. This is like my hair. So I'm gonna be filming soon, upcoming again, for an exciting TV show that is coming back. So I need to fix my hair, but that's my fro. But I'm gonna, when I get back later after I have pretty hair, I am going to tell you what happened at the spiritual healer. tomorrow is the Anytime Fitness one-day sale. So for 24 hours, there's $0 joining fee. And then there's also like they give away a bunch of other things as well, like goodies. So it's for one day only, and it's on at least once a year. And so if you give the page a follow just down, I'll put the link down below on Instagram, you will stay updated to when the next ones will be. Really have time to cook again today, so just some creamed cottage cheese is low in fat, full of protein, calcium, healthy fats, and I eat this whole tub. Some days I eat this whole tub, sometimes I do not, but a little dash of cinnamon sprinkled in there, and maybe some stevia will make it really, really sweet. So what I wanted to talk to you about now is I've been holding you on, but I guess it's like one of those things that it can be deemed as like really weird, or you're a freak or whatever. And that is like, I guess, my psychic abilities, but it's not really psychic. It's like, all right, I get dreams. I get dreams all the time. I'm a really deep sleeper, and a lot of my dreams have come true. And, you know, even, they're not even, a lot of the time, they're not even to do with me. Like once I had a dream about someone at work that this particular colleague had already left. I had a dream about him that night that he actually came back, and lo and behold, that next day he came walking in and came back. And I thought, is it because of my Eastern European heritage, where I guess kind of the gypsies originated from, and you know, like I should have a crystal ball in front of me? But I don't believe so, because I've met other people, you know, the like attracts like thing, who are of all kinds of ethnicities, and it bears no relevance to it whatsoever. You know, Melbourne would be my next city to live, so I have like relocation decisions to make, and I have my degree, whether I'm switching degrees because of reasons that I've explained in my other vlog, and just some things like, you know, I'm happy, I'm in a good place, but just some things that have gone on, and like decisions that I have to make. So my friend said, you know, you should go see the spiritual healer, and he said he'll be down at the markets, and this spiritual healer, that's not what he's at the markets for. He sells things at the markets, and that is just something that he also is gifted at, right? So I said, he sent me to you, he said that I need to be healed. And then he said, what's wrong with you? And I go, oh, nothing really. And he's just looking at me, and he's looking at me, and he's looking at me, and he's going, your colors is orange. And I go, yeah. He goes, your color's orange, I can't see anything wrong with you. He goes, if you told me that you'd had a headache. And I go, I don't have a headache. And he goes, no, I would have already fixed it if you had a headache. And I was like, okay, right. And he goes, your color's orange, you're fine. He goes, you've got a few rocks at the moment, and you're deciding whether or not to walk over the rocks or walk around the rocks. And I was like, yeah. And anyway, so I'm just still, you know, I go, no worries, thank you. Anyway, lovely to meet you. And he goes, lovely to meet you too. So anyway, I'm walking around. I look up, and I caught him staring at me. So I caught him staring at me, and then he's like, he goes, come over. He goes, you taught me reading you, didn't you? And I go, yes. I go, I can read people too. And he goes, I know you can. It's just like this thing. And if you research quantum physics, it's about everything that, you know, everything we eat is energy. Me talking now is energy. Everything in this universe is energy. And like, you know, the energies that we put out and things like that. And even I've been in situations several times where I've been in a really good place, and someone else's energies are really, really out of whack, that I have then taken on their energies, and it's made me really like, wow, because their energies, their vibrations are really like cracked and whatever. And anyway, he's like, come here and just sit down. So I sat down, and we're having a little yarn, and he goes, yeah, my wife always says to me, you know, how to teach you when you're too young. The way that I have is like a lot of life experiences. And that's what my other friends said too. Do you think that this is all because we've had so much life experience and so many things, like hurdles that we've had to get across? It's made us. But I really just don't think so. I really just feel like it is something that we're born this way. So if you want to end up like us, you want to end up a psychic. No, we're not psychic. We're like, anyway, to cut a long story short, my energies are completely fine. I've just got decisions whether or not I'll walk over, but whether or not I want to walk sideways around these rocks. But what I will want to say is that he actually went into my past life, which was very, very extraordinary. For example, I feel much more energetically at peace and calm, and like I really belong here when I'm at the northern parts of Australia, right? And I feel really, really like my energies are really out of balance whenever I'm in the southern half of Australia, like not even the southern half, like the southern perimeters. I'm just feel really, really, because I'm, you know, and this is like despite the first like 8 years of my life. I was conceived in the Pilbara region. I lived the first 8 years of my life within the Pilbara region, and you know, my life, I had the most amazing first 8 years of my entire life. Like people would be jealous about the life that I had, like living in, you know, where I lived. And you know, my life, my childhood was not playing on computer games or booking in. My life was on weekends. I would go out with my Kurrajini National Park, and you know, one time we came home. My life was not like a typical city dwellers, or even in other parts. Like I had a really unique life, you know, for the first 8 years of my life that was amazing. So I always kind of, is it because I have this really deep like connection with the top half of Australia that I you know, even when I go like to Cairns, or you know, whenever I go to like Broome or Cairns or wherever at the top, I feel really, 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 really connected. So with my decision to move to Melbourne, I've kind of been thinking, well, not only like is Sydney pretty cool, right? I've been also thinking, are my energies going to be out of whack? Yeah, I like Melbourne. Melbourne's cool. I've got friends there and stuff, which is why I've kind of decided to move to Melbourne. You know, there are a lot of other job opportunities there too, and things with my career. But am I putting myself in a position where my energies are going to be out of whack because I'm moving south, where I actually feel that on the, you know, the Perth Sydney kind of, you know, longitude on the map, I'm okay, but I do feel much better and content within myself every time I'm north, right? So closer to the equator. So I guess it's been a big decision that I don't particularly want to pick up and move states and then be feeling like, so that was in the forefront of my mind. Now, I did not tell this energy healer that this was in, you know, anything. I just said, no, I'm fine. I'm just making, and he was, you know, I'm just making decisions. But he goes, have you ever lived in Cairns? And I visited Cairns for the first time like 2 months ago. And he goes, 4 lives ago, you were in Cairns. He goes, you and crocodiles would survive very well together. You'd survive very, very well up in that part of the country. I'm going, wow. He said, yeah, 4 lives ago, you were up near Cairns. And I was going, wow, you know what? Like, I did not tell him anything about why I feel my energies are better in the northern part of Australia. And I also did not tell him at all my insane love for saltwater crocodiles. Like I can like look at a saltwater crocodile and I can tell what they're thinking. I feel very like, you know, I don't know, I love their personalities, and I can see that. To me, they're not like a big predator. To me, they're a gorgeous, cute animal. So anyway, he said, and this was like with him telling me, is he went back, he said 4 lives ago you were up near Cairns and you would survive very well up that part, and you would, and he's telling me all of this. So basically now, like I'm kind of thinking, geez, you know, am I like, not only have I been feeling like, oh, you know, Sydney's really cool or whatever, now I'm kind of feeling like, am I going to put myself more into a you know, an energetically awkward place by moving south rather than I should be moving north. So I have like the decisions to make, but pretty much like, you know, the law of quantum physics is very, 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 very real. I've never, ever, ever, ever doubted myself whenever I've followed my intuition and my gut instinct and just being in contact with my own self. So if like, as I said to you, I don't know, like I could say this vlog and pretty much tell you like, I mean, I guess you can find spiritual healers too if you wanted to like call it that, because what he told me was what I was already feeling within my gut instinct anyway. Like my gut instinct was telling me like every time you're south, like I mean, Melbourne's cool. Like I've been feeling like the energies, and you know, you can, from myself and my intuition and my own gut instincts, there are the app that I use to hypnotize myself, and you can do meditations on it as well. There's a lot of motivational videos in there and things like that. I have mentioned it before in a previous vlog of mine, but it's called The Law of Attraction. Now, within this app, there are a couple of hypnosis as well that you can do. Don't quote me on this. I don't use this particular one of it because I don't need it, but it may help you to be able to like get inside your own. It's a hypnosis for psychic ability. So you can do this hypnosis. Now you have to do it like every single day. The best time to do a hypnosis or any kind of meditation is when you first wake up or when you go to sleep. And if you do it when you go to sleep, if you fall asleep, that's fine, because your subconscious never, ever, ever, ever sleeps. Your subconscious is always awake. So if you fall asleep when doing it when you're asleep, then that's completely fine. Well, I don't do the psychic ability because I'm kind of like a little bit worried about what would happen to me, seeing as I already have that ability anyway. Is what if I started doing that? I'll end up like a fortune teller down at the markets or something. Like, I don't really see that in my career. And to be all honest, I never really tell people about their own prophecies or anything like that, because people might freak out, or you know what I mean? Like, it's more about myself and my own things that are going on. But so I haven't committed to Melbourne. I haven't really, but it is in the forefront of my mind that I guess I don't particularly want to move and then have to move again, because, you know, if I move to Melbourne, like I've got friends there, which is very, very important. But, you know, obviously I want it to make it the right move for me, and I don't want to do it, you know, make it like a thing that I have to repeat. But anyway, this particular one, I'm not focusing the quantum physics. I don't know if it's even able to be taught, or if it's just something you self-learn or you're born that way. So this channel is not about that, but I will obviously go into it through my own experiences, because it is something that's very big to do with me, and it's what I believe in, and it is real. It is scientifically proven. It is physics. I can learn, and I can direct you into the ways in which you do want to in your own intuition. And you can probably start off with those apps. As I said, I was kind of born this way, and it's just something I've known since early childhood, and I could just do. But I do speak to the spirit guide. I do speak to the spirit guide, and meditation is a really good way to just kind of even clear your mind and rejuvenate your neurons. And it's actually proven on the MRI scans to open up the pathways and create more pathways and everything like that. So that's another good way you can get started. So let me know anyway and see how you go. But hopefully it does work for you, because I can actually softly say, I mean, if you're using it for the right purposes, I don't go along and tell people like their prophecies, and I can't say things like that. And I even feel really awkward, even if I have a dream about someone, just saying that I had a dream about you, because I just do. But I do, like, it's been the most beneficial thing. Like, I've had a lot go on in my life, like a lot, that to the point that like my intuition and the way that I've been able to like just go through life and, you know, get to where I have been has just been like, I know that my spirit guides are like with me with everything. So I guess if you you're interested in maybe like learning what I know, then maybe you can give it a go, and maybe it'll help you. It didn't, as I said, I didn't learn. It's just self-life. Thank you for listening, and meanwhile I'll just sit here. So if you ever want to buy cheese, if you're total cheesy like me, like I totally love cheese, and this cheese, get the creamed cottage cheese, the low fat, or the low fat ricotta cheese, because these kind of cheeses, if you could eat that whole entire tub and you're completely set. Like, I love cheese, every kind of cheese, blue cheese, like every kind of cheese that there possibly is. I could live on cheese. Just if you're pregnant, avoid these cheeses, because when you're pregnant, you can only eat yellow cheeses and none of the white cheeses or the soft cheeses, because they could be contaminated with listeria. So avoid them. But if you're not pregnant, go for gold, and you could literally eat this whole tub. There have been occasions where I have been totally craving cheese and, you know, eating like 2 tubs of this a day. It's fine. You can alternate it up, like put some fruit in there, some cinnamon, some other things. Yummy, yummy, yummy. You could also make these savory, but I personally love ricotta cheese. I feel really bad that I did say that this channel was going to have like cooking in there as well. And I haven't really cooked anything for you yet or shown you any kind of recipes. And I promise you that I will.